Hey everyone, take two. I want to do a video just chatting about what I've been enjoying, what I've been doing, how I've been painting, and all kinds of things. So let's start with it. I'll start with the palette. If you've seen my how to make a perfect springtime palette, then you kind of know what's included here. I have added a couple of colors and I can already tell you, I've used it a lot, and I can already tell you that a few colors I could take out and not really miss them. So I don't know, I think I'll continue to use it until I am either sick of it or I decide that it's just time to change it up and I want to move on to a summer palette. But I'll definitely do also a summer palette. And yeah, I don't think it's too exciting to talk exactly about which colors I loved and which not. Maybe I'll do that as I kind of walk you through what I've been doing, and which is not a lot. I mean, some days I can paint and then other days my kids just have other ideas of things I should be doing. So I did add yesterday this color. This is from Shinhan. It's one of their Pass color, which come in these large 20 ml tubes and are ridiculously affordable. These are Korean, if I remember correctly. Yes, made in Korea. And they are called a hybrid of watercolor and gouache. So I decided to add just this bright red. And what did I paint with it just yesterday? Because I felt I wanted something kind of warmer. So you can see it a bit. I don't know if it's like completely pure. Oh, there it is. This is kind of the pure side, the pure version of it. It's a mixture of pigments, BR1 and PR48. I don't think this is a super light fast color, but it's really interesting, and I don't think I have anything like it. It's a little bit fluorescent, I would say, so the camera doesn't pick up at just how bright it is, but it's somewhere kind of like, I would say maybe a fluorescent, slightly more reddish version of quinacridone coral from Daniel Smith, if you're familiar with that color. Other brands sometimes call it quinacridone red, which is a color I love. It's like my perfect coral. So I feel this is a little bit more intense, and it's just a really fun color. I think for summer actually it will be really fun. But yeah, I decided to add that, and I also added my beloved Sennelier emerald color, which is kind of the perfect mint color. Other than that, I've been loving most of the colors that I have, and a few of them were kind of unused in my color, you know, in my usual daily paintings. So I'm glad I decided to kind of curate this palette the way that I did. Now, I've just been playing with some abstract, starting with kind of smaller studies, sketches, whatever, just having fun. I used these samples of different papers that I had. I'm kind of running out of them, so I might just take a block of paper that I'm not like super in love with and cut it to smaller pieces. I just find it easier to play on. Anyway, I really liked how this turned out, so I tried a larger version of it on this, and I also really like this. I think I might even consider framing it. The paper is Canson. I'm not like it's a nice paper. There's nothing to say about it. Oh, and then I did this one, and I even signed it, which is quite a big thing for me. So signature, I'm still not sure about my signature, but I decided maybe to try my signature in Hebrew because I really like the it's not punctuation. No, it's not punctuation, but in Hebrew we don't really have vowels. If you're familiar with Arabic, it's a similar system where you have like a letter, like this letter for example is R, and if you put a dot under it, then it's ri, and if you put like a plus under it, it's ra. So the sound changes according to which sign you put under it. And I just like the way that that looks. It's one of the most, I think, challenging things in Hebrew, besides the fact that you have to learn a new ABC or a new alphabet. You know, for me, when I came to Austria, I spoke Hebrew and English, and the letters in German are the same like in English. So I didn't have to learn an ABC. I didn't have to learn to, you know, read before I could learn the rest. And that's, I think, quite challenging when you want to learn Hebrew. And then you have also all these marks, which are actually not written anywhere. They're only written in children books. So basically, if you want to read like a book, a newspaper for grown-ups, a street sign, you kind of have to know the words before you read it to know how they're supposed to sound. That was really complicated. Anyway, so I used this paper. Let's just take a look at this paper. This is the Montval Aquarelle paper. It's actually a cellulose paper. I did not know that. I didn't I didn't know. And Allison B, if you're listening, I love your comments. You're always so full of information, and I don't really know like the difference. Like, I mean, obviously it's not cotton, and I know cotton is like the best, but I'm just wondering, you know, in practice, what would be considered kind of the characteristics of cellulose paper as opposed to cotton. I have to say, when I was painting on it, I did enjoy it, and I didn't feel like I was working against the paper. I have papers that I enjoy more, but I didn't feel this was really a compromise. So I have to check the price. If this is like a lot more affordable, I might use that for like my sketches, because I feel I can still get a good idea of, you know, how the colors flow and behave. And yeah, so I made these two. I really love them, which is something you will very rarely hear me say about my own paintings. And maybe someday I'll even frame them. So moving on, after I got so confident, I decided to pull out some of my very best paper. This is the 640 GSM paper that I have from, I want to say, Saunders Waterford. And I mentioned this in my most expensive paper, and people wrote me, thank you so much for all of your fantastic comments. That video seemed to be really, really popular. That makes me happy that you enjoyed it. And the comments were great. And one of the things that I learned is that sizing of watercolor paper can go off, or like, so I'm making an effort to use it, and I felt after doing all the other things that I could be brave and use one of my very best papers. And I kind of liked how it turned out. I actually think the other ones, somehow I think I like this one a little bit better. But there are certain areas here that I love, like this white flower here, and yeah, kind of this area here. Not sure about this actual one, but all in all, I like the way that it looks, and I like the effect. And yeah, I signed it again. I'm so brave. And then I moved on to playing with some, I wanted to paint some cherry blossom, and I did all kinds of sketches and like just pencil sketches to get the shape, kind of work on composition, see what I like. What else did I do? Yeah, some more playing here with just the shape and which colors to use. This paper is this one. This is the Paul Rubens acid-free. I was sent this paper by their distributor, and I don't even know, I don't know if this is 100% cotton, but Yeah, it's nice. It has like a nice texture to it. It's nice to paint on. Again, not my absolute favorite, but it's kind of a small, I have this smallish pad. What is the size? 7.6 inches on 10.6 inches. So I feel like it's a good size for, you know, kind of studies sort of thing. And this is also just a sheet torn in half. So I was playing around with this, and I really like some of the things that are going on here. I love these colors that I got from mixing opera pink with some of my yellows, the nickel azo yellow and the Naples yellow. I really, really love these shades, and I really like this kind of pop of blue. I like some of the neutrals here. This color combo didn't really work for me, so I was just playing around, but yeah, definitely got a taste for trying some more things. So this is, you know, just like a study. And what I also started is I made this, I tried to make my, well, I succeeded. It's just not a very good result to make, to bind my own sketchbook. I had a pad of watercolor paper. I don't remember which paper it was that I just wasn't like super in love with, and I thought it would be nice just to make it, turn it into a sketchbook. Now, if you have tried to do this before, the problem is with thick watercolor paper that you can't put too many in one signature because they just start sticking out just because of the thickness of them. But I found kind of a way around it that still makes it look, that doesn't make me have to cut them, to cut the edges to straighten them, which you could do, but I just don't like that process. So I found a way around it because laziness is the mother of some inventions. And what I did is in each signature I have, well, we'll see. So one sheet of like thick watercolor paper, and then a sheet of this thinner paper that is also 100% cotton and is really lovely, and it has these very nice deckled edges. This one is by a company called Silberburg, I want to say, which I haven't been able to find any information about, but I did pick up a pack of their paper, thin paper, and I'm really enjoying it, really enjoying it. So I have one sheet of that and then one sheet of the thick paper, again, the thin one and the thick one, thin one and thick one. So I think 4 sheets of the thick paper and then 3 of the thinner in between, and then the signature is stitched. And this way the edges look really pretty, and you can't, it doesn't bother me that you know, the papers on the inside are sticking more. So I made 3 signatures, and then I did some sort of binding. So each signature is bound like individually, and then they are attached to each other. What I don't like about this kind of thing, I have to figure out how to, I don't know, do it in a better way, is that, you know, when you work through it between each signatures, you have a gap. Now, I know some book bindings or sketchbook bindings, you can kind of have here a sheet that connects them and kind of glue it a little bit, but I kind of don't really want to lose so much paper. So I don't know, I'll have to think about how to do it. There's also some ribbon here that is tied together and also kind of holds it. But I found that if I just like work on it like this and then add clips or something, it doesn't really bother me that there's this gap between the signatures. But the idea of this sketchbook is that this signature, the first one, is dedicated to my good ideas. Things that worked. So I actually, you know, looked at my paintings that I enjoyed and made these pages with things that I like. So I have here a color scheme that I liked, and I wrote down all the colors. This makes me happy. And then here I have just some like versions of areas and elements that I liked in my paintings. Now the goal here is to have first of all, make something that just makes me happy, that doesn't always have that element of the unknown, of experimenting, of not knowing. I have so many ugly pages, ugly sketchbooks, a lot of them, and I accept the fact that not everything that I will ever make will be just, you know, pretty. That's fine. But I want this sketchbook to be really pretty and make me happy. So I was just exploring some of the elements from the paintings that I liked and just playing. So here I just went back to those white flowers that I liked, and here some of those darker areas. And then here some of the colors that I liked from the Magnolia sketches. Not Magnolia, Cherry Blossom. And yeah, and then I decided that the second signature, I am going to tackle what I am afraid of heads on. So I started a really interesting discussion, if I do say so myself, over on Angela Fehr's Fearless Artists community, which I joined last month, I think, and I really enjoy it, and I feel it's a very kind of safe, supportive place to share my kind of daily or weekly situation and obviously see what other people are doing, but at the moment it's a little bit more self-serving than, you know, just being a supportive member of the community. I try, but I'm mostly thinking of myself. I admit it these days. You know, there at home I'm thinking about everyone. Everyone is making me think about them. Anyway, so I was talking about how I really hate copying my instructors and copying things that other people are doing, like in lessons or something like that, because I always want to be original and authentic and all that stuff. And then I decided what I'm going to do is I'm going to find things on Pinterest that I really love and try and paint them. So blatantly copying them. Obviously I'm not going to sell this or scan this or, you know, like even post it with just like that without giving credit or anything. This is just for my own personal demons. No. Just to really just copy things that I like the way that they look, and then, you know, in the future make it my own. It could be the near future or not so near future, or it could be very immediate. So this one was something I found on Pinterest, or my version of it, very similar to the original, and it was a lot of fun and kind of gave me a lot of ideas. And then this was another one that I really tried to copy, the colors, the composition, everything, and then this was kind of my own take on it. I love rainbows, and I just changed the kind of color scheme to fit more what I would consider my kind of signature color scheme, let's say. And I really enjoyed it. There's something very relaxing in just following another painting, and somehow because it was copying kind of a finished painting, not so looking at something finished and trying to get to something similar on my own, I felt like the process was more authentic, if that makes sense. I mean, obviously I'm copying someone else's colors, composition, idea, but I don't know exactly what they used. I don't know exactly how they did it. It's just an image on Pinterest. And I think actually both of these were made with acrylics or gouache or something that is more opaque. And I wanted to work with watercolors, so also kind of adapting the medium that I chose to get the results that they got was kind of a challenge. So yeah, that I'm going to continue to do this because I just really like the way that it looks, and I did enjoy the process. Again, it's not something that I would ever sell or, you know, teach a tutorial or something like that, because it's not my artwork, but it's just a great place to try new things. Like I wouldn't have chosen this color scheme, but I really enjoyed certain elements of it, like these interesting oranges. I do think they are appealing, so I can see trying to incorporate them into my own artwork. I'm usually not a huge fan of oranges. I don't think I hardly ever use orange out of the tube. I really like to mix my own because I'm so particular about them. And yeah, and now I'm babbling. So let's see. I think I'll do a separate, maybe like a monthly favorite video. This was more about just my process, whatever I've been doing, and just sharing that with you. I hope you enjoyed this video. Take care, and I'll see you in another video soon. Bye.